For our last video today, I'd want to return to the very first video of today, which was talking about distracted driving and as a cyclist, how it bothers me. And I think everybody should be bothered by it. I mean, people should be paying attention to driving. As I saw in one of the videos I was kind of poking around and pulling footage from, driving itself is a full-time job. Sometimes I think we forget that when you're behind the wheel of a car, how much damage can occur if you're not paying attention 100% to what you're doing. So I decided a few years ago, and we're going to look more carefully at this study next week, to do a little study on COCC's campus about distracted driving. So I took a couple days, couple afternoons, different times, different days of the week, and went down and observed cars going by on College Way. And it might surprise you to realize that of all the cars I saw, and I looked at about 700 of them as they went by, only 15% exhibited signs of what I would consider distractedness. And we'll talk more about that next week. Again, today is mostly just nuts and bolts and trying to figure out how to put that together with its margin of error, which, because I had a pretty large sample, was a pretty narrow margin of 3%. We're going to talk more about how sample sizes impact margins in the next day's worth of playlists. But 15%, that's it. You know, it's so funny, like, when I talk to other bikers, they talk about how much worse distracted driving is getting, and I one of those bikers that say the same thing. But I think sometimes we forget how many cars go by us without causing us a problem. I can tell you exactly where that Transit was on 27th Street a couple days ago, riding back from the store, because that Transit went around me and then came right into the bike lane right in front of me and stayed there for, I don't know, it seemed like a quarter mile. But I can't tell you any of the cars in front or behind that Transit because they didn't do that. So like almost like your brain hyper focuses on the bad behaviors and ignores the good ones. This is where statistics helps us too. It allows us to focus properly. So anyway, 15%, margin of error of 3%. That means I am statistically confident that between 12% and 18% of drivers are driving distractedly. Definitely much less than, say, a majority of drivers, but still enough to be concerned with, I would think. 15% itself is about 1 in 7. 12% is 1 in 8. 18% is just shy of 1 in 5. It's less than 1 in 6. But so you're looking at between like 1 in 7 and 1 in 8 drivers are out there being distracted. So not a majority, but still enough. And when you put yourself out there on the road like bike commuters do, that's a lot of cars over the course of, say, a day or a commute or a year or whatever. Okay, my friends, I think you have enough to attack this first homework assignment. Go get them.